of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome, my dear third secondary school students. I'm Mr. Muhammad Mustafa, and today we'll continue our new lessons about Mega Goal 5, Unit 1, Lesson 4. 2 is better than 1. Today is a reading lesson. Do you think animals ever form partnerships to help one another? Explain. Animal partners. What does partners mean? Partners mean معناها شركاء، الشراكة في ما بينها الحيوانات بينها وبين الآخر. Now listen to the first paragraph.
Animal partners. For animals in the wild, each day is a struggle to survive. They must continually search for food while at the same time keeping themselves safe from predators. Some animals have learned that teaming up with another animal makes the struggle to find food, shelter, and safety a bit easier. This kind of special relationship in which animals depend upon and benefit from one another is called symbiosis.
Okay. Here for animals in the wild. Wild means معناها البرية أو الحياة البرية. Each day is a struggle. صراع to survive ليحيا. They must continually search for food. لازم يستمر البحث عن الطعام while at the same time keeping themselves safe from predators. لازم يحافظ على نفسه آمن من المفترسات. Some animals have learned that teaming up with another animal makes the struggle to find food, shelter and safety a bit easier. هنا إن الحيوان ممكن يعمل حاجة اسمها teaming up، يكون تيم فريق مع حيوان آخر يساعده ويجعل من الصراع على الفود طعام shelter المأوى and safety الأمان is a bit easier أكثر سهولة. This kind of special relationship هذا النوع من العلاقة in which animals depend upon and benefit from one another is called symbiosis. Symbiosis means يا شباب التكافل أو التعايش السلمي. Okay. تبادل منفعة ما بين حيوانات.
One of the most visually surprising examples of symbiosis occurs between the fearsome African crocodile and the small plover bird. When a plover is nearby, a crocodile will open its long, sharp-toothed jaws to invite it inside. You might assume that the plover would quickly reject this invitation and fly off. Yet surprisingly, the plover does hop inside. Perhaps even more amazingly, the crocodile, normally known for its aggression, does not snap its mouth shut and have the plover for a snack. Instead, it remains still, not closing its mouth until the plover leaves. How can this strange behavior be explained? The answer is symbiosis. The plover picks out all the small pieces of meat stuck between the crocodile's teeth. In doing so, it cleans the crocodile's teeth, which prevents it from getting infections. Because the crocodile cannot clean its own teeth, it depends on the plover to perform this service. In return, the crocodile provides an easy meal for the plover.
Here is an example for symbiosis. Occurs between the fearsome African crocodile تمساح الأفريقي المخيف and the small plover bird plover اللي هو طائر الزقزاق. When a plover is nearby, a crocodile will open its long sharp toothed jaws. يفتح الفكين شايفين في الصورة هنا. تمام. When a plover is nearby, a crocodile will open its long sharp toothed jaws to invite it inside. You might assume that the plover would quickly reject. طبعا تعتقد انه هيرفض الانفيتيشن الدعوة and fly off ويطير، ولكن طبعا surprisingly بطريقة مدهشة the plover does hop inside يقفز داخل الفم. تمام. And perhaps even more amazingly the crocodile normally known for its aggression، انه معروف ان كلمة aggression هنا ان التمساح معروف بالعدائية بتاعته doesn't snap its mouth shut لا يغلق فمه and have the plover for a snack. Instead, it remains still not closing its mouth لا يغلق فمه until the plover leaves لحد ما يغادر الطائر. How can this strange behavior be explained؟ كيف تفسر هذا التفسير أو هذا السلوك العجيب؟ The answer is symbiosis اللي هو التكافل أو التعايش. The plover picks out all the small pieces of meat stuck between the crocodile's teeth. هو البلوفر اللي هو الطائر picks out بيلتقط اللي هي الايه السمول pieces القطع الصغيرة العالقة ما بين أسنان التمساح. In doing so it cleans the crocodile's teeth. بينظف هنا أسنانه which prevents it from getting infections. بيحميها من العدوى because the crocodile can not clean its own teeth. طبعا مش هيقدر ينظف أسنانه بنفسه. It depends on the plover to perform this service. بيعتمد عليه في تقديم هذه الخدمة. وعلى العكس the crocodile provides an easy meal for the plover. وهنا الطائر بيحصل على وجبة سهلة من الطعام. Here is another example. Listen.
In some cases of symbiosis, like the crocodile and the plover, each animal in the pair benefits from their relationship in a different way. However, in other cases, the animals share a common goal. This is true of the honey-guide bird and the ratel, a furry creature with short legs and long claws. Both these animals live on grasslands in Africa and have an appetite for honey. As its name suggests, the honey-guide has a special ability for locating beehives. However, this small bird cannot open a beehive to get at the honey. To accomplish this, it teams up with the ratel. Ratels are a perfect match for the honey-guide, as they love honey, are large enough to crack open a hive, but have no ability to find hives themselves. The honey-guide flies over grasslands looking for a hive. When it does spot a hive, it swoops down and makes a noise to alert the ratel. The ratel uses its claws to tear open the hive. After eating its fill, the ratel invites the honey-guide to finish the leftovers.
Okay. Here is another example of symbiosis like the crocodile. الكروكودايل and plover قلنا اتكلمنا عن التمساح وطائر الزقزاق. في هنا نوع آخر من العلاقة بين حيوانين اللي هو عندي through honey guide bird اللي هو طائر المرشد العسل and the rattle a furry creature مخلوق فروي with short legs أرجل قصيرة and long claws ومخالب طويلة. Both these animals live on grassland in Africa. الاثنين يعيشوا في الأرض اللي هي الخضراء أو العشبية في أفريقيا and have an appetite for honey. لديهم شهية للعسل. طبعا هنا the honey guide has a special ability for locating beehives. هو هنا عنده يعني خاصية أو قدرة خاصة في تحديد أماكن اللي هي البيهايفز اللي هي خلايا النحل. However, this small bird cannot open a beehive to get at the honey. ما يعرفش هو إيه يحصل على العسل بمفرده، ولكن بيستعين بمين؟ عامل team up with the rattle. The rattles are perfect match for the honey guide. They are large enough to crack open a hive. لديهم القدرة ان هو يقدر يفتح ويكسر الايه الخلية but have no ability to find hives themselves. ولكن هو ما يعرفش يجدهم بنفسه. مشكلة اللي هو الهاني جايد فلايز بيطير over a grassland يبحث عن الخلية، واما يعني when it does spot a hive اما يجد خلية it swoops down and make a noise بيعمل صوت معين ازعاج لتحذير للراتل. الراتل uses its claws to tear open the hive after eating its fill. بعد ما ياكل ويشبع خالص اللي هو الراتل بيسيب البقايا اللي هي leftovers البقايا الطعام لمين؟ للهاني جايد. Here is another example. Listen.
Another two animals that team up to compensate for their own weaknesses are the zebra and the ostrich. These two animals often travel together. This is no surprise, since they are a perfect match. While the giant flightless ostrich has poor senses of both smell and hearing, the zebra has acute senses of smell and hearing. On the other hand, the zebra has terrible eyesight, while the ostrich has excellent eyesight, enhanced by its long neck, which enables the ostrich to see far into the distance. In this way, each makes up for the other's deficiencies. As a result, the animals are far safer together than they would be apart. Ostriches can see predators, such as lions, far in the distance, while zebras can smell or hear others as they approach.
Okay, here is another example about two animals, zebra and the ostrich, الحمار الوحشي والأوستريتش اللي هي النعامة. These two animals often travel together, بيسافروا سويا. There is no surprise since they are a perfect match, while the giant flightless ostrich has poor senses of both smell and hearing. المشكلة عند الأوستريتش هي في السميل الشم والهيرنج السمع، على عكس مين؟ الزبرا has acute senses of smell and hearing، له حاسة قوية جدا في الشم والسمع. على عكس كمان هذا terrible eyesight، الزبرا لديه رؤية وبصر ضعيف، على عكس برضو الأوستريتش has excellent eyesight. الاتنين بيكملوا بعض. طبعا enhanced كمان by its long neck، الرقبة الطويلة جدا اللي هي الأوستريتش النعامة. enable the ostrich to see far into the distance، بتشوف مسافات طويلة جدا عن بعد. وهنا بيكملوا بعضهم البعض أو other deficiencies، العيوب بتاعتهم. The animals are far safer together than they would be apart. Ostriches can see predators such as lions، هي بتشوف المفترسات من بعيد طبعا من الرؤية بتاعتها على البصر، من زي الأسود أو كده far in the distance. While zebras can smell to hear others as they approach. Listen.
Birds and land animals aren't the only ones that work in symbiotic pairs. Some sea animals, like the clownfish and the sea anemone, do as well. Sea anemones, which look like plants, are actually dangerous animals with poisonous tentacles. Most fish stay away from anemones to avoid being stung. However, the clownfish makes its home among sea anemones. It does not get stung because its body is protected by a special coating. Living among the deadly tentacles of an anemone has a clear advantage. Most predators stay away. Another benefit for the clownfish is that it is able to eat the anemone's leftover bits of food. But what is the advantage to the anemone? There are several. First, the brightly colored clownfish attracts predators. When the clownfish swims under the anemone's tentacles to safety, if the predator follows, the anemone has the chance to sting and eat it. Other services the clownfish performs are cleaning up food scraps and dead anemone tentacles and chasing away fish that might eat the anemone. While many symbiotic pairs may first look like odd partners, the benefits they provide one another are invaluable and may make the difference between life and death. In fact, it is often these animals' very differences that make them perfect partners.
Here is the last example. We are talking about clownfish, and sea anemone. هنا عندي يا شباب قلنا آخر مثال some sea animals like the clownfish and the sea anemone do as well. Sea anemones, which look like the plants تشبه النبات, are actually dangerous animals with poisonous tentacles. Most fish stay away from anemones to avoid being stung, لكن تبعد عنها لأحسن تلدغ. However, the clownfish makes it home among the sea anemones. ولكن هنا السمكة دي يعتبر هذا بيتها. طيب ليه؟ It doesn't get stung. لا تلدغ because its body is protected by a special coating، في طبقة حماية خاصة جدا خاصة بهذه السمكة. Living among the deadly tentacles of an anemone. tentacles أو اللي هي الحاجات السامة دي اللي هي طالعة منها دي. تمام. Has a clear advantage. Most predators stay away. Another benefit for the clownfish is that able to eat the anemone's leftover، بتاكل بقايا الطعام. يبقى بالنسبة ايه هي الاستفادة الخاصة من سمكة الكلاونفيش هنا؟ ان هو عاملاه منزل ليها، ان هي بتحمي نفسها من المفترسات، وايضا بتاكل بقايا الطعام. but what is the advantage to the anemone؟ طب ايه بقى فايدة الايه او الاستفادة اللي هيستفيدها اللي هو الانيموني اللي هو شقائق النعمان؟ there are several، في حاجات متعددة. first the brightly colored clownfish، اللون اللامع للسمكة attracts predators، بيجذب المفترسات. when the clownfish swims، متعوم بقى هي under the anemone's tentacles، تحت الايه التناكتلز، حج يا الله المجسات دي، حج اللي هي شقائق النعمان to safety its predator if the predators follows، لو هو يعني لو المفترس ده تبع the anemone has the chance to sting، يلدغ and eat it وياكله. other service the clownfish performs are cleaning up food scraps، بينظف قلنا بقايا الطعام and dead anemone tentacles، وأيضا كمان المجسات الميتة بينظفها and chasing away fish that might eat the anemone. while many symbiotic pairs may at first look like odd partners، في الأول كده ممكن يشوف إن إحنا التعايش ما بين هذه الحيوانات يبان إن هو علاقة غير طبيعية أو علاقة شاذة من نوعها، لكن هنا the benefits they provide one another are invaluable، لكن الفايدة اللي بيوفرها كل من الآخر هذه لا تقدر بثمن and they make the difference between life and death، تمام، بتعمل الفرق ما بين الحياة والموت. in fact it's often these animals very differences that make them perfect partners. here is the questions. Answer the first questions. The first question explain the meaning of symbiosis. Symbiosis is a relationship in which two animals depend upon and benefit from one another. قلنا هنا symbiosis اللي هو التعايش معناه علاقة بين حيوانين depend upon and benefit from one another، بيستفيد كل منهما الآخر. in what way do the African crocodile and the plover have a symbiotic relationship؟ ازاي العلاقة ما بين اللي هو التمساح الأفريقي وطائر الزقزاق؟ قلنا the plover cleans the crocodile's teeth which prevents infection and provides a meal for the plover. give an example. Question number 3. give an example of a case of symbiosis in which each animal has the same goal. The example اللي هو the honey-guide bird and the rattle help each other get honey. The honey-guide bird finds the hive and the rattle tears it open. عندي هنا مرشد العسل والراتل بيساعدوا بعضهم البعض في إيجاد العسل، واحد بيجد العسل والتاني بيساعده في أو بيخليه ياكل باقي الطعام. Question number 4. name two animals that make up for each other deficiencies. How do they do this? The zebra had bad eyesight but good sense of smell and hearing. The ostrich has poor senses of smell and hearing but a good eyesight. الاثنين بيكملوا بعضهم بان هو الحمار الوحشي والنعامة. The last question. what benefits do the clownfish and anemone offer each other? The anemone provides a safe home for the clownfish، بيت آمن and leftover food، بقايا الطعام. The clownfish attracts prey، بتجذب الايه الضحية to the anemone لشقائق النعمان. cleans up food scraps، تنظف بقايا الطعام and dead tentacles والمجسات الميتة and chases away fish that eat that anemone. Here we have finished our lesson today. Thank you and see you in another